Guys, today I will showcase my hardest hitting rogue setup in Diablo 4. I pushed this build to its limit. Finally we reached more than 100 damage per crit. With this one you're gonna annihilate tier 100 dungeons without breaking a sweat. With poison imbuement it's game over, baby. Pure barbecue chicken at its finest.
Holy shit.
105 mil. It's absolutely nasty, and without stacks you will get 80 mil, 90 mil. You're gonna destroy bosses so goddamn quickly and packs of enemies. But before we continue, quick word from the sponsor DVING.net. If you need any help, these guys can help you all. Simply use RBD for RBD promo code to receive 15% off on any service, on any game. But now, let's get back to this setup. Actually, everything is kinda simple in this one. I'm using Helm of Might. Damage reduction is really important. What we need here is maximum health, armor, and all stats is not necessary. I'm looking for poison imbuement to deal even more damage. I switched my sword, and now I have all stats on that bad boy. Max roll, and all stats on my mask is not needed. Poison imbuement, from other hand, could deal shit ton of damage, and I could get my numbers. Oh my god, I just can't imagine how crazy numbers I could get with proper mask. On my gloves though, I have shared misery. It's really important because we have tons of status effects in rogue setup, like daze, we gonna disoriented our enemies, poison, shadow, freeze, so yes, stun of course, tons and tons of status effects. And unfortunately I haven't found a perfect role for that aspect, but you're gonna spread status effects all over the place. We are sharing stun grenades or spreading stun grenades non-stop, and with that freezing everybody, and that's the reason why we can survive tier 100 really easily. Accelerating aspect on my crossbow, all stats, dexterity, vulnerable damage, crit damage, all stats is mandatory at later stages in the game. To make those breakpoints in your Paragon board, you need all stats on your sword and crossbow ideally. I'm using unique dagger as well, which gives me tons of damage. Of course you could replace this sword for another unique sword for rogue to increase your attack speed, but I think it's kinda nice synergy right here. On my rings I have blade dancer aspect. So for the attributes, health damage, crit chance, vulnerable damage, and yeah, maximum health, crit chance, vulnerable damage, and crit damage. These four aspects are the way to go. One ring is not perfect for me, I'm still looking to improve that ring. On my amulet I would rather find the Fridge Finesse buff, but exploit will work as well, so it's not the terrible option. For the gear, of course, you should look for damage reduction, and since rogue fights in close quarters, I would, especially this setup with twisting blades, I would recommend you to spec as much you can damage reduction against distant enemies, because sometimes, goddamn, they can one-shot you really easily. So damage reduction against distant enemies is really important, because you're gonna take down really quickly close enemies. And you know those bees with poison, oh my goodness, I hate those bees so goddamn, because the poison can be stacked really quickly on you. And again, damage reduction against distant enemies is really important. If you think that this is squishy setup, you can always switch to momentum to gain a little bit more damage reduction. Of course, resource regeneration, and eventually you can use momentum aspect, which heals you, but again you're losing DPS, but in a sense more DPS is a kinda more defense. You can kill enemies much quicker, and in that way they can deal less damage to you, so more DPS leads us to better defense. Does it make sense? Because we are killing enemies much quicker, and since we are teleporting from enemy to another enemy using shadow step, so yeah, it's kinda really quick, crazy setup. We have tons of damage, we have vulnerable damage, we have control, of course. We are using tons and tons of really dope aspects, a lot of damage reduction, and you can easily carry low level characters with yourself and earn some gold. Actually, right now gold is really pain in the ass, especially at the later stages in the game, to reroll all the gear or to get perfect rolls. So yeah, you can carry some people with this setup really easily, and as you see, I have nailed all the breakpoints in my Paragon board. Exploit, vulnerable damage. Don't worry that if I haven't reached 25 strength here, because we don't need that vulnerable damage, not damage, but we don't need that extra buff where we are applying vulnerability to our enemies, because our basic skill will apply vulnerability non-stop. So this build in my eyes is absolutely insane. I have 6 Paragon boards, tons of damage, and also tons of damage reduction from vulnerable enemies and elites. Elites are the trickiest things in the game, so you have tons of survivability, crazy speed, and DPS like there is no other setup, and you can get even higher than that. Butcher of the mic, I will look for a new mask and I will try to update this setup. Butcher of the mic, see you in the next one, bye!